Alright, in today's video we are replacing a master cylinder in Kerri's Jeep. The problems that she's having is that once you build up pressure in the brake pedal and keep holding your foot on it, the pedal drops to the floor, and that is an indication that you got internal leakage in the master cylinder. So we're going to go through and start replacing all that, but I'm going to show you what I mean by the pedal drop. Oh, there we go. Finally. After a minute. One of the first things we're going to do is try to get out as much brake fluid as we possibly can before we remove this all. You could probably do it now or later, but we're just going to suck it out now, make it easier. That brake fluid's dirty. They're probably like retard tight.
Probably.
Watch your knuckles.
Holy shit. Yeah, retard tight is right. See anything going on with it?
I would take a wrench and loosen, take the first two nuts off, because it's attached to this bracket here. And once this is loose, it'll give you some play to get these lines out easier.
Yeah, so a wrench?
Yeah, use a wrench. Oh, those are actually easier than I thought.
Yep, me too.
I was expecting those to be seized on as well.
Me too.
Should be able to wiggle it. And if you gently pry on the lines. One thing we did too is we removed this. This is like evap switch or something, I would believe. I don't have that on my Jeep, but now that that's out of the way, we should be able to pull this gently out of the way, just as so. Now we're ready to swap that tank over to the new one. The master cylinder we bought doesn't have a tank because the tank was an extra $50 more. And that was an added expense that could be spent elsewhere. Easiest way to get these pins out is with a roll pin punch, and they are identified with like a little tit on the top which fits in the hole, which means when you pound them out it's not going to deform the pin. So we're going to pull these pins out, we're going to pull this tank off, and then transfer it over to the new one. Now this tank, we should be able to wiggle it off without breaking it. That's the biggest thing. Oh, there we go. These things easy to get out.
Well, at least you know it's a good seal though.
There we go. Got that out without breaking it. Master cylinder right here. We're going to install the bleeder screws, get the hoses ready to connect, and then fight to get that tank on, I betcha. And then we'll bleed this in the vise, and then we'll install it and bleed all the brakes, and we should be done. So I used some brake fluid to lubricate here and lubricate these seals so I could push that tank back in. Make sure I got the orientation. And it says we're supposed to rock it back and forth. Oh wow, that was pretty easy. Now I'll put the roll pins back in. Now we're going to bleed the master cylinder so all the air is out of the system. Slide this bad boy back into place. Make sure everything is lining up because there's a pin in there. The pin in there has to go through this hole. So when you stick it in, make sure that she lines up, and then we'll That comes the hard part.
Is it calm? Is it just being a dick?
You just gotta wiggle her gently back into place.
Sorry, gently?
Yeah. There we go.
Gently?
Gently. So now we just gotta install the last 2 nuts and then tighten up the brake lines. Then we're gonna go to the process of bleeding the whole brake system and seeing how much shit's in there. So Kerri's done a marvelous job of reattaching her master cylinder. Last part, of course, is bleeding the brake system. And that we're gonna start from the farthest from the master cylinder, which is gonna be the passenger side rear, and then the driver's side rear, and then the passenger side front and the driver's side front to bleed all the old shit up. We're gonna see how much contaminants are in there, because the master cylinder, when we evacuated all the fluid out of that, it was full of shit. So I'm suspecting there's gonna be a whole bunch of crap in the lines too. There's gonna be a 2-man bleed job where she's gonna pump up the brakes inside till there's pressure, and I'm gonna crack the screw at the back, and it's gonna dump out all the shit and then tighten it up and repeat over. So I'm gonna go get set up and we'll be ready to go. All right, we're screwing around with Kerri's brakes because the proportioning valve wasn't working properly. We could bleed the front brakes, but the rear brakes were getting nothing, and I pulled the line off and it's starting to drip now. But what we did is that we suspect there was some shit built up inside, so we removed this front portion here and took it all apart, and now it seems to be bleeding off. So hopefully now we can get the rear brakes to work. Alright, this is what we're dealing with right now. That rear bleeder screw is stripped, so I got an easy out on it, and we're just gravity bleeding into the jug because we had issues with that proportioning valve, and fuck, this is taking forever. Alright, it's motherfucking beer time now. I wouldn't say that was a job well done, but the job done. It was a shit show. The master cylinder went way too easy, and like I talked about before, the proportioning valve fucked us over, and then that rear bleeder screw was stripped, and it was just a fucking nightmare. But we got it done. Took a lot longer than it should have. Now it's motherfucking beer time. And now we're gonna have to do the Dana 44 axle on Monday for the rear seals. But if you have any questions or comments, post them below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.